wanna do now is making it last. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends forever, strengthening the ties that keep us together. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends forever, strengthening the ties that keep us together.
How to find or maintain your identity while maintaining healthy relationships. It's time for another conversation. Welcome to Making It Last podcast. I'm your host, Noreen Daly. And with me this time around, I have Ayanna Suckoo, NCB scholar from the parish of Hanover for 2017, social work major, doing an associate's degree in communication studies. And with her, I have Rajae Danvers, community activist, JNN News ambassador, singer, junior communication strategist. Welcome.
Thank you so very much.
Now, let me start with the lady. Let's kind of just split this up in two. How can you find your identity? Before we talk about maintaining, you have to find it. So, Ayanna, your thoughts?
Well, finding your identity comes under the broad caption of self-actualization. And that is from Maslow's hierarchy of need, where he has self-actualization at the very pinnacle. Mm-hmm. And Maslow himself said that it's very hard, or it's very rare when someone reaches that level of self-actualization, but it's possible. So finding your identity, you first have to go through certain steps, such as, and I know this is overemphasized because a lot of persons say this, but you need to love yourself, respect yourself, maintain boundaries, effective communication, and build on your confidence. So that you may get to that level of self-actualization.
Okay. Rajae?
I agree with you totally, Ayanna. And I think the struggle that we have in finding self is someone losing ourselves to find ourselves.
Okay.
Right? So in searching for ourselves, it's a situation where we are not certain of the avenues to take. Because in truth, not everyone knows about Maslow. Would you agree?
Okay.
And so what we have to look on is unconventional ways to communicate how it is that you find you. And you did that quite clearly a while ago by loving yourself, by understanding who you are, and most importantly, what you're about. Because I believe understanding what you're about will somewhat lead you to understand who you are.
Okay.
And then by doing that and by understanding that, you end up with you.
Okay. No, somebody's listening and saying, yeah, that all sounds so high. And yes, these are sounding like these people are obviously a university. I'm listening and I'm thinking, take it to my level, Rajae and Ayanna. That's a big word. It's too sure. Self-actualization. You tell me that I need to love myself. Tell me in practical terms, what should I do? How do I get to that when sometimes in our society, and it might not necessarily be a Jamaican society, we don't necessarily encourage people to even appreciate who they are. You know, your identity a lot of time is formed by external sources. So how then do you just go inside, so to speak, then and find yourself?
Well, a lot of times we ask persons, who do you think you are? We have been asking this question from about basic school, primary school. Who do you think you are? And we use positive attributes to define ourselves. But what about the negative?
Okay.
What about your flaws?
Okay.
Because a lot of times we say, well, I'm pretty, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm fun. But what about the side that nobody wants to see, or you think nobody wants? What about that side? So loving yourself, it's not about just the positive attributes
means embracing
or the bright
all
side that you show everyone, but it's embracing all of it. It's knowing that, yes, I'm passionate. Yes, I'm outspoken. But at the same time, I can come across as abrasive or aggressive. It's about embracing all of it. And that's That's how you get to loving yourself.
Okay.
But Ayanna, I would want to say though, before you embrace it, you have to know what it is. So I want to say to the average man, right? To talk about self-actualization, to know what you are. Just take a look at who you are. Stand in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Touch your nose. Touch your eyes. Touch your face. To say, okay, this is me. You know, go down. Look at yourself. This is who I am. Right? What do I like? What annoys me? Who do I prefer to talk to? Who I can't stand in my space, right? Because by asking yourself those questions, you of course you'd obviously get answers, right? Because you'd be there for a bit, you know. I prefer this over this, or I don't like this. I don't like the smell of that. And I say so that's how you start to find yourself. You search out yourself by looking at you. So I would want to say, talk to yourself. In the simplest form, talk to yourself, right? Not a conversation with anybody. Right. You know, there's no critique but you. Right? There's no one to judge you at that point. So you want to talk to yourself and find out what you like, what you don't like. And by doing that now, you can say you take mental notes. And those mental notes will inadvertently teach you how to be you.
Okay.
Right.
We also want people to recognize it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's obviously a process. So with anything else about finding your identity or finding yourself before we move on to maintaining?
Yeah. What I'd like to add in my preparation for this interview is that, as I said earlier, so in the quest to find, we often lose ourselves.
Okay.
Because we often look for, how can I put this? We often search for ourselves in someone else. And the truth is, God made us as individual beings.
That's right.
The characteristics that we have that no one else in this entire world possess. Right? So oftentimes, and it happens especially among, I would want to say, this generation, where we see a Michael Jackson and I want to be like. That's a struggle that we're having, and I dare say that struggle has caused most of some. But I don't want to say most. I did say most of the social problems that we have at this point, Ayanna and Noreen, finding ourselves in other people. So because I want to become a great pop singer, I don't even want to sound like myself. So I practice to sing like. Right? There's no individuality, and we are not even understanding that it's because of this person's individuality
that's why
they would have amassed what they would have amassed. Yeah, can you understand? So that's so I think that we should at least point out that point. Before we move forward.
Okay. Ayanna, anything else on finding before we move on to maintaining?
I think a lot of times when we're finding ourselves, we don't understand what's happening. We don't understand that, well, as Rajae said, that we're different beings. So it's not like I am going to be as curvy as Stacey, but I have my strengths and I have my weaknesses.
That's right.
I build on my strengths and I focus on getting my weaknesses towards making it a strength. So that's a point in finding yourself.
Yeah. We've said a lot about finding. We're going to move right now into how then do we maintain. I have found myself. I have a strong sense of self and I am comfortable with who I am. How then do I work on maintaining this strong sense of self?
We need to set boundaries. When we find ourselves, I can guarantee not everyone will accept the self we give them. Because they want to make us into something that they want, not what we need. And so we need to set boundaries. Tell them that, hey, this is it. I'm not going to take your disrespect because we disagree on this.
That's right.
I'm not going to take your disrespect because we have a different lifestyle or a viewpoint. So we need to set boundaries in maintaining that sense of self. We need to block out all the noise. Stop trying to please everybody. And that's a big problem. And I think Rajae touched on it.
Talk about it.
We need to stop pleasing everybody. We need to stop looking for love in everybody, for everyone else to love us and start appreciating ourselves. So we need to stop going pleasing mommy, daddy, everyone around, because that's when we tear apart the self we have just discovered.
Yes.
In trying to fulfill everybody everyone else's perception of
our
who we are.
expectations. Mm-hmm.
I want to take it home in terms of a little bit being a little bit more personal with it.
Okay.
I have an approach on life, and I can and I got this by in finding me, right, finding Rajae. I recall in grade 4 and grade 5, learning about conduction and convection and energy. And I learned at that time that energy can never be destroyed. It can be converted from one form to the other. And I thought, and I said to myself, that means that negative energy can be transferred to me. Yes. And so I must ensure that, as you said, I protect my space.
That's right.
I protect my space.
That's right.
Because in maintaining that me, that individual whom I found, I have to ensure that I protect that person firstly, because there are threats, and we must understand. I keep going on to the society. We must understand the society that we live in. The society is saying you should not be you. You should be me because I have a lot of money. I am on the cover of this. So I wear this bag. So let me show you something. This bag means nothing. I have a bag here in the studio. This bag means nothing, an average bag, until perhaps Beyonce wears it.
That's right.
And say, buy this bag.
Yep.
This bag was bought for $5,000. If Beyonce says buy this bag, maybe $25,000.
Yes.
So we're living in that society, right? That dictates, self. This is the self you must accept. So therefore, I think to maintain what you have found is primarily protecting what you have found. And another thing that I think that we must look at is not only protecting, but feeding what we have found. For example, I think personal development is integral to one's being.
That's right.
Yes. And so, you have found a type of personality that you have. Ask the question, is this personality conducive to the line of work I'd want to do? Because you have some people, say you're doing an associate in media, yes? Some people going into media and having an introvert personality. Can you understand that? Right? So you'd have to say to yourself, wait, I'm going to have to learn to speak up more.
That's right.
Right? Because I have to be prepared for the purpose I have in my mind to fulfill.
That's right.
So in maintaining who we are, we should ensure that we develop ourselves. And taking back home personally for me, I ensure that I feed myself with books and because I'm a speaker, I'm doing communications. So I have to feed myself with public relations material, communications material, how to speak well, how to enunciate, diction, and all those things. Books upon books, audio, Miles Monroe, T.D. Jakes, listen to Joel Osteen, feed myself with those things. That's how I maintain who I am. And for those who are listening, you find what you love and develop it to the best of your ability. And that is how you maintain who you are, by developing who you are.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times the hard part isn't getting there. It's really maintaining. It's the renewal, because it's something that we have to do every single day. It's not just something that I say, oh, I'm going to get to this level and stay there. No, as Rajae said, you have to continue feeding yourself. And from my personal experience, what I realize is that there are different things that works for different individuals. Yeah. So in grade, I think it was grade 10, I was doing a final exam and I was preparing for my Spanish orals. My mom forced me to take Spanish. And so it came harder for me because it wasn't my natural love. It was good, but it wasn't my natural love. And so I prepared for that exam and I felt confident. But when I went to the exam, I saw questions that I could have done, but then I broke down. And on that day, my teacher gave me the prayer of serenity. And that's kept me each day.
Wow.
I also have our deepest fear posted, stuff like this posted around my room,
affirmation
on my mirror, that I can see every day to affirm who I am and where I want to be in life. So every day when something, because some obstacle will come, some new obstacle will come. And once you've overcome that, that's just life. It will send a new obstacle your way. So you have to keep maintaining, renewing each day to ensure that you keep the level you worked so hard to be at.
Yeah. We've said a lot. We've just dealt with maintaining and finding your identity. And I know you want to hear about the last part of the question, which is how we put all of this in terms of maintaining healthy relationships. But guess what? You will have to join us next time for that conversation. I'm Noreen Daly. That was Rajae and Ayanna. Join us next time for the conclusion of this conversation.
I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.